Hello, Soulpreneur Life family and friends. Today we're going to talk about monetizing your audience. No matter what size your audience is, there is potential to monetize it, right? You are a business owner, and it's something that I've shared before is that if you're always giving away your products and services for free, well, then that's a hobby and not a business. So if you are actually wanting to transition into bringing in an income and monetizing your audience at the size that it is so that you can then move into growing it, this is for you. So stay tuned. I hope that you get a ton of value. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kendra Bolden, and I am the founder of Soulpreneur Life LLC. And it is my honor to be with you today. I'm a healer, an Akashic Records practitioner. I'm a whole bunch of things with a whole bunch of different labels that are kind of irrelevant at this point. I'm just here to share value and love on you today. So I hope that you find some goodness in all of this. Okay, so let's talk about monetizing. And I have my notes. So if you see my eyes, because you guys know I have ooh shiny syndrome. So if you see my eyes dodging around, I'm trying to keep myself on track so that I can make this short and sweet for us. So let's talk about monetizing your audience. Let's talk about growing a larger audience, but so many people talk about growing a larger audience, but they don't talk about if they're actually monetizing the audience that they currently have. So if you have an audience of 30,000 people, but only 5 people are buying, have you really done the due diligence to build up an audience that is aligned for you, right? So we're going to talk about some of those activities that they've missed out on for monetizing their audience or in doing those income producing activities. When you flip it, when you flip it and you focus on and you flip from focusing on growing and having that big number, from growing your audience to monetizing it, right? Results can happen. Results that it doesn't matter the size of your audience, that will be really meaningful and impactful to you as a business owner, because it feels good when we see the impact that we're making on other people and we start bringing in income, right? So because you know how to do the latter, right? Because you know how to do the latter, it buys you time and money to do the former. Not everyone begins their business in debt or high risk, right? They don't build high risk, or some people do that with ads or credit card debts to fund their business and things like that. So you see people who seem like they're an overnight success because all of a sudden they came out of nowhere and their posts or their ads are everywhere and they're sharing all of these screenshots saying that they've just signed $2 million worth of clients today and all of these other things, right? And you start to get imposter syndrome and you start saying, well, my audience, I only have 200 people in my audience, or I only have 1,000 people in my audience. Yes, but are you monetizing them, right? And not everyone is going to be the type of business owner who, like I said before, is going to go into credit card debt or take out loans and all of these other things to just dive right into ads, right? To dive right into those types of activities. And so if you're building more organically, you have to be patient with yourself. If you're still working a 9 to 5, you have to be more patient with yourself and the progress that you're making. And it's really, really, really important to stay focused on what it is that you are building and to not shift into that comparison. That comparison can it can eat away at you, and just, it doesn't feel good. So if you are leveraging your 9 to 5, a lot of people are in MLMs to fund their dream business, which is amazing. And I love it. And it's a slower process, but it doesn't mean it's any less meaningful or fruitful. Consider the size of your current audience right now. Take a moment, think about it. Like, really think about your TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Clubhouse. There's so many different ones, YouTube, right? People you know, referrals. Think about that right now. How many friends do you have on Facebook? How many people do you have following your public page? How many people do you know? And don't make excuses for people and say, oh, well, they wouldn't be into this or they wouldn't like that. Just think about the question. Think about your audience, right? And ask yourself, would I be able to manage 300 new clients right now in this moment today? Or 30? It's a lot of people. So the delay is also preparation. It's preparation for the bigger success that you are working towards. So don't beat yourself up and say, I should have 2 million followers already. I can never be a successful blogger or podcaster or this or that because I don't have a huge following. Because right where you are, you can monetize. It's about shifting that perspective, shifting that mindset, and giving yourself the opportunity to do it and to practice now so that when you have that huge audience, you have the systems in place to turn your audience from following you to being a client, to being a testimonial, right? So give yourself space and ask yourself, like, where you are right now today between balancing schedules, leveraging your zone of genius, outsourcing certain things, which I'm horrible at outsourcing. So I try to do everything, but I do have many things that are outsourced. Between hiring and firing, there's no shame in building your business at the speed that is right for you. So I just wanted to get that out now so that you understood that this is a safe space and you don't need to compare and you don't need to look at someone else and say, I should be, or why can't I be? So now let's talk about monetizing your audience. How often have you ever been friend zoned? Have you ever been friend zoned in your business? So when you have a smaller audience, it feels, oh my gosh, all the feels. You get all of the feels when this happens. But when your audience feels small, that is possible because we overextend what we share, what we provide. And it's to appease something inside of us. Sometimes it's ego, sometimes it's that mental body that's telling us that we aren't something yet. Imposter syndrome, perhaps, fear of being seen. But let me tell you that that happened to me so much in the beginning. And I was friend zoned while spending hours talking to these people. I wasn't standing in my authority. I wanted to help everyone, and everyone would come to me because I was so open and they'd say, oh, I love your energy. And it was taxing. And I didn't have boundaries because I felt obligated to help all of these people because they tell me all of these stories that just were gut wrenching or heart wrenching. And I had no boundaries. So people felt that they could demand, and I've had people come to me, clients come to me and share this with me as well, that people demand their time or their immediate response because they had helped them previously, or they had done something free or discounted for them previously. And that doesn't feel good as a business owner. So spending too much time talking and answering questions for people to try to essentially have you coach them for free or provide your services for free and run off and then go invest with someone else with their product or service. Oh my gosh. That it doesn't feel good, does it? Those people, they always left me in the beginning and they would always say, but I love your energy. I love this about you. You're so kind. Thank you for taking so much time to talk to me, to coach me, to show me. I appreciate your vulnerability. You've inspired me. But let me tell you, that hurt. To know that I could help someone. I had the thing. I wouldn't hurt them. I had no intention of hurting them, scamming them, overcharging them. But they went with the ooh shiny salesman. In the beginning, oh my goodness, who can relate to that? That was something that I seriously had to do a lot of mindset work around and establish boundaries and all kinds of other stuff. But a lot of other entrepreneurs and soulpreneurs also find themselves in that position where people are hitting you up in DM or wherever the case may be. And it's like they're trying to get access to you, to have you activate them or to have you pour more stuff into what it is that they're doing, but they don't want to exchange that with you with their time, their energy, or buying a service from you. So like I said, I struggled with that chapter because the same individuals later on would come back to me weeks later, months later, complaining about how their choice to go with that other person didn't work out, didn't feel good. Something went wrong. They got scammed. They felt like they wasted their money. They didn't get what they expected. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't fix that for you. And I felt like that stage was really personal. But the truth is that what I'm going to share with you today was needed. So take notes if you can. I don't know how long this is going to be up, but if you are able to access it and watch it on the live, on the replay, go ahead and just take notes, okay? And if I go too fast, just rewind it and go back. So it's important that you have messaging tactics, or I prefer to call it flow, messaging flow. And when you have that one in place, it actually leads to sales instead of just that, I love your energy, right? And then you're not letting people dump on you their emotional trauma and things like that either, because you're not a therapist. I assist my clients with this process so that it's fluid and natural, and they're able to keep that magnetism, that uniqueness that is theirs during their interactions with their clients and their exchanges, right? So that messaging tactic is really, that flow is really important so that you understand what is the point of this conversation? How can I help you, right? How can I be of service? I like to say that because it's like the core of my heart. And then balancing your content. So when you balance your content, you don't burn your audience out. And that's really important because it can happen. We've all seen it, right? As you grow your email list, as you share online, whatever platform of choice that you may prefer. I know I've shared previously about the 80-20 rule and how I like to use it, and I'd love to share value in content, and I enjoy sharing the real world life stuff so that you guys know that I'm a real human, because that's the whole purpose and reason I started doing what I'm doing, right? I didn't feel like there was a space for me and I couldn't find it. And I just felt all of this inauthentic take energy. And so I created this space. And a part of how I show up is to continue sharing value and love with you all, because that was what I needed, right? Also the other stuff like the strategy and all of that, which I'm going to share. So yes, I share value. Yes, I give free stuff. Yes, I give paid stuff. But yes, I am a business owner. Yes, I love sharing this free value here and there. And yes, I'm going to have launches where you're going to see more content, but my audience then knows what to expect from me, so they can choose to engage or not, right? And in doing this, you're also aligning yourself to create an audience that's aligned with you, not me, but you. Right? Because of your messaging and how you operate and how you're showing up. People are going to be like, what is this person doing? I like the way that they shine. It feels good when I read their posts or I see them on live video. And then that grows, because that's just how it works, right? So they are aware that you are a business person who is invested in your energy work, your mindset work. You've created strategies, systems. You've done the mentorship to become the version of yourself before them today. And by you showing up as your authentic self, they get to decide if that offer is right for them, if you are right for them. People often get so wrapped up in the service, but people buy from people, right? People buy from people. So we're not in the business of subscribing to the notion that we have to convince someone. And I'm really serious about this, because I did this in the beginning for a long time when I felt like I had to be of service to everyone. But we're not in the business of subscribing to that notion that we have to convince someone to work with us. Or at least I'm not. If you do that, then you will forever be trying to convince them that you are worthy of their time, of them being your client or student, or for you to provide them the service or product that it is that you offer. And you don't want that. You want people to already understand that what you are doing is of value. And you do that by showing up in your authority, which we're going to talk about. So the tactics on how to establish an aligned audience. If you're starting from zero, it's important to show up authentically. It's important to show up authentically, especially if you're starting from zero, which is perfectly fine, right? But do not copy and paste others. I'm going to say this again. Besides the fact that it's an IP legal issue, copyright issue, and everything else, do not copy and paste others. Be yourself. You are the blueprint. You are the blueprint for your alignment. You are the blueprint for your alignment and the alignment in your business. Do you hear what I'm saying? So if you're always copying and pasting other people's stuff, you're going to call in what they are calling in. And it may be a mismatch in how you show up and how you get on calls with people and how you teach people or train people. And then you're going to wonder why you have to keep seeking out all of these external things just to sustain or create something, when all you have to do is just pause and allow yourself to show up for your audience and become that beacon of light for people to find, because you'll be shining. And when you shine, then people who are looking for you can see you, right? And it's safe to be seen. So don't copy and paste. The energy of lack and chasing is heavy with that, right? Allow yourself to receive and feel the joy that abundance brings to you, to your life and business, and something that's backwards in society. But be that version of yourself that you desire to be now, right? If you are that version of yourself who's making $100,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $5,000 a month, be that version of yourself now, so that then you can have the desires in that divine timing. But you don't have to have it before you can be. All right. So be that person now so that you may have. You catching it? You catching it? It's really important. Okay, so let's get to the audience. What to do when your audience thinks you do something different? So I launched my first business. Oh my gosh, I had just gotten out of the military towards the end of 2016. 2017 is when I started, and almost no social media following. I had started a completely new Facebook page. I wanted just to revamp my entire life. And I grew my first email list over many sleepless nights, by the way, in affiliate marketing. And I had over 10,000 subscribers. And I remember panicking about needing to run ads and do all of these crazy list building activities before I could start to sell anything, when I decided to transition myself and my business into something that felt more heart and soul driven. So while I was like, oh, okay, I get affiliate marketing now, my feet are wet, I understand it. I have all of these people who are used to being emailed by me. But does it feel good? Do I feel like I'm in my purpose? Not quite. So then I had this terrible amount of fear, because now I have to rebuild, I have to reassess, right? And I'm not knocking list building or ads, but this training isn't for that, right? As I shared with you earlier, not everyone wants to start a business in debt, which many people do. They take out credit card debt and loans and just all kinds of other things. So getting back to the point, I gave myself permission to fully utilize what I had back then, back in the day, when I didn't feel like I had much. And imposter syndrome was thick. It was heavy, because what did I know as this Army sergeant, as this Army soldier? And I was still green in affiliate marketing, right? And building the community and monetizing everything at that point. It was completely different. And so I was hiding behind the emails and the safety of the emails, because people couldn't see me, or I didn't have to feel the rejection, right? If I saw an unsubscribe, that was one thing, but being rejected face to face or over a call, that's completely different. Oh my gosh, oh, I panic, right? So I was hiding behind emails, and I think I grew my first Facebook group, it was maybe like 100 people. And that was where I had to like show my face and I had to be seen. And I was not one for pictures or going on live or doing any of that stuff. So it was really painful for me. And it was so painful. But we have to get out of our comfort zone in order to grow, right? So I had the list that I busted my butt for, and I was painfully growing a group, a Facebook group. And if you're sitting here thinking like, oh my gosh, that's so many people, 10,000 people or 100 people, that's not much. I could never do this or that, right? Or you're on social media, hit and miss. Don't worry. It gets easier, and I've got you. And we're going to talk through a strategy that you can use, even if you literally have no one on your list, right? Like, it's okay. So, but back to my story, because I'm getting off topic. I'm getting off here a little bit. But come back to the center. Okay. So by this point, when I decided to transition, my list of 10,000 people was fairly unengaged. It was pretty, I wouldn't say it was dead, but it wasn't hot, right? And I had pivoted from affiliate into MLM, and I was trying to find my feet and understand how I wanted to structure my business. And I had my first LLC at that time, and I was basically ignoring that to juggle mom life, my health concerns with the Veteran Affairs Office. I'm a disabled vet, for those of you who don't know, and business owner duties, when I realized that I didn't want to sell anything that I was selling. And so I was like, what am I going to do? How do I find this alignment? And what was that going to look like and feel like? So when I created Soulpreneur Life LLC, my list hadn't heard from me in like a year, probably more than a year at this point. And in fact, if you have an email list, you can always wake it back up at some point with a quick email and just be honest with them. Share a video recording that's really quick and to the point, and just let them know like, hey, you haven't heard from me in a long time. This is what I've been doing. If you would like to continue on this ride with me, please subscribe to this new list, and give them an option to opt in. But you know what really blew my mind was how off my assumptions, my fears and concerns were. And I even talked to my coach about this, because I still have a coach, about waking up that list again. And she was like, you better do it. But I was like, they only want to hear about affiliate marketing from me. Most of them, they're not buyers. They were just looky-loos on my list, right? Like, and I was basing this off of what I was offering and the price points that I was offering, and if they were buying or selling, or buying or just inactive or opening the emails and things like that. I had this concern that my list was too small to be of real value when you look at the industry average. I don't know if you guys know about that, but it's like less than 1% that actually do certain things. So the more people you have to see your offer, the better. And that conversion rate was scary to me, and the quality of people that or the fear that the quality people that were aligned to me I had already maxed out their time with me, right? So I was wrong. But those were some real fears, and I'm sharing this with you. There's a point to it, I promise. But the quality of people and all of that, like, it's just all of those fears were running around. So I was shocked, and it was just a more meaningful experience to reconnect with some of the people, because some of them were waiting for it. And one of them had actually follows me still to this day on Facebook, but was like, what took you so long? Like, I told you that I thought that you were going to be on stage speaking to thousands way before now. Like, let's go. Come on. I've been waiting for this. And I was like, what? But then strangers began to buy. So I had to continue to show up. Are you guys seeing the process? It's uncomfortable, but it's possible, right? So I had to continue to show up, and I wasn't, or it isn't always easy, but it is so worth it once you start seeing how everything that you've transitioned through creates something so beautiful for someone else and of value, and that you have the exchange of receiving payment for your offer. You're monetizing what it is that you're doing, right? So some of the people on the list had even responded before making other purchases, that they had told me that they had been putting these pieces together from smaller offers, from free trainings, from others that they followed. And they were so sick of paying for all of these bits and pieces, or even larger amounts, right? Trying to put together this puzzle, trying to decipher how to mesh it all together, what their purpose was, how they were supposed to do their business, how they were supposed to be successful in their life and create an income. And this is also why I often share in our free masterclasses and training that, yes, I share value. Yes, you can get the amazing value and act on it, but it isn't quite as powerful as applying it with the support of the person who created it or the system who created it, right? That was a huge piece that a lot of people fear. So receiving support doesn't make you weak. And if you want people to invest in you, don't be afraid to invest in yourself, right? Invest in mentors, invest in your business, invest in healing your mindset or what it is that keeps you in that loop, but treat it like a business so that it can pay you like a business, right? And I love working with people. So if after all of this, you want to explore what it looks like to work together, then we can talk about that too. So anyway, who else has heard something or has even said something like, I just want something that I can start and finish that actually does what the hell it's supposed to. I know over the years, I invested in so many things, small things, big things, that promise the world ooh shiny object syndrome. And then at the end, when the veil was dropped, I'm like, what the heck was this? I could have Googled this. This is not helpful. This doesn't get me any closer to my dream. So you better believe that hearing those people come alive again and share with me that they were excited to hear from me, share that they were excited to finally see something shared with them that put everything together in the perspective, in the way that they needed, that benefited them. It lit a fire in me to continue forward, right? It put that fire under my butt, as my grandma would say, to push me into seeing how else can I add value to this space, into this business. And I have levels within Soulpreneur life that help people put their puzzle piece together to add value to what it is that they're creating and healing and all of that. And a huge part of why I believe the layers came to be within Soulpreneur life, energetically, mindset work and healing, transition into strategy and systems, was because these were all pieces that I had to learn how to put together in order to find success. It's like I would have one and then I didn't have some other piece, so I couldn't make it work. And then I was frustrated because I was comparing everything else because my mindset work was off. And it was just this big thing. So I realized that what a huge game changer that deep work and mindset healing had been for me and for the people around me. And when you add the other pieces that didn't work before that internal shift. So again, full transparency, you guys know me well enough by now that I'm honest. I will always have a therapist, a mentor, a coach, someone to help to hold space for me to continue to grow. Whether that's adding certifications and trainings for you all so that you can leverage what it is that I learn and experience and how I show up for you all. We are living, breathing beings. I say this time and time again. We are not supposed to be stagnant. We are supposed to continue to evolve and grow, master something and then learn something new, teach someone else, learn something new. Also, it allows me to work with my clients and deliver similar shifts by creating processes for them that I can put into programs and systems and strategies that make sense, that are in bite-sized pieces for where they are, because I honor each soulpreneur, each entrepreneur is at a different stage in their business and on a different level. Some people are doing energetic work, some people are doing mindset, some people are in the strategy and the systems phase, right? And a huge reason why I created the illumination process that I have, for example, is so that you can understand that next step of, okay, how am I going to uncover my block so that I can get through and talk to my dream client, right? So get crystal clear on their pains, getting crystal clear on your dream clients' pains. Avoid getting stuck on the modality and saying, I'm a Reiki master, I'm an Akashic Records practitioner, I'm a coach, I'm a mindset healer, I'm this, I'm that, right? Avoid that, but really drill down into the results and the symptoms. The results and the symptoms, if I can get my words out right. So not, hey, come see me for Reiki, but for someone with chronic pain, and I'm using myself as an example here, who had no idea what that was when I was medically retired from the Army and I had chronic pain and insomnia and all of these other things. How would I know to look up Reiki when I just knew that I couldn't sleep? So detail the symptoms, tell the story that helps your dream client to see themselves in you. Have empathy, share empathy. This is magic. And instead of just leaving it there, shift it from good, better, great, freaking magical unicorn, right? You can say, good messaging explains, here's what we do. To the point, kind of dry, right? Great messaging says, we understand you, and this is what we do. Freaking magical unicorn messaging is going to have people stop and re-listen to or reread what you've shared, because you say, we do what we do because we understand you. And in doing all of that, those are the messages, those are the ads, those are the content that people stop and pause and say, this person gets it. And that's your goal as you are trying to grow your audience, as you are trying to create an audience that you can monetize. You're building that know, like, trust factor by being authentic and being you. So the illumination process, for example, that I take some of my clients through is going through that process with them. And then at the end of it, we have clear messaging. And with all of that, it's designed to create a system, a flow for your business. And the beautiful thing about selling, the beautiful thing about it and the way that I teach it is that sacred sales exchange is something that you don't have to be a super salesperson in order to do. You just have to be real. You just have to be able to hold a conversation. And this is something that's really personal for me with my background and all that I've done is like, there are so many people who are amazing at sales, just naturally. Like they're stellar in their delivery, A1. But then in the delivery of their product or promise, it's like a fail and it leaves you feeling like crap. So when you can really align what it is that you have to share with other people with your authentic voice and self and allow them to know upfront, like, hey, I know people love expectations and here's what I have to offer. This is the real me. And this is how I can be of service to you. I mean, my way and how I teach in illumination is you have to be fully present, fully available, and to speak to this person, to communicate with this person, and to know the structure of the call that you're having with your potential client so that you understand the point, the gist of it, so that when people get distracted, you can get back on track again. And that transitions us into what I mentioned earlier about owning your authority, owning your sacred authority. And you do that when you lead by example. You demonstrate what it is that when people work with you, when you follow your own process, the magic in that is so massive. And it's something that, I mean, lead the way is what we say in the Army to NCOs. I was a staff sergeant, and it's always lead the way, right? NCOs lead the way. We are the way makers. And it's the same transitioned into this business model. And the magic lies in the two truths, right? So I am you. I am one of you. And I'm successful and living the dream that you desire too, right? Those two things. And I boil it down and say it often as like, I'm here to show you that it's possible, that I'm one of you, right? And then to bring you through to hope. Because I'm doing it, I'm proof. And if I can do it, you can do it, right? I'm not some superhero magician, but I'm doing it. And if I can do it, so can you. So if you only showcase, and this is something that's really, really big that you guys have probably heard me beat a million times in 100 different ways, but it's so critical. If you only showcase one aspect, you disconnect. And I've called it Instagram perfect, where I felt like there was no space for me in this niche, in this business, because I would go online and I saw all of these Instagram perfect people posting their perfect lives, and it was not relatable. And I'm like, I'm feeling depressed. I just divorced. I just was medically retired. I have all of these things going on. Like, I don't fit in. I don't match all of these people. And then I realized I had to create a space for others like me, right? So as you're sharing content, you have to be authentically you. And it's okay to be a real human being. People follow people. People buy from people. I'm not saying go on there and be all like complaining and whatnot, but be a real person, be vulnerable, but you have to pull them through the narrative. And, you know, speaking of vulnerability, I've had clients where they embrace that vulnerable state, right? But if you do that, do it from a place of power, a place of healing and clear intention. Like, you're not doing it to, like, for example, if you're sharing a story about an ex or something from your past, make sure you're sharing it with a good intention, that you don't want to be malice talking about that person, but you want to share enough of the story that people say, oh my gosh, I was in a horrible relationship and I was gaslit and I had a divorce, and now I totally relate to being a single parent and understanding I had to redefine my purpose and all of these other things. And then on the hope on the other end is now they're running their successful business, helping people, creating $100,000 a month, $200,000 a month, helping 300 people every week, right? Obviously, I'm exaggerating all of these numbers here, but you have to pull them through the story instead of leaving them in that vulnerability, because then you're not the authority, but you're just someone like them who is still in that pain. So you have to pull them through the pain. Don't get stuck in that part of your story. And I had a mentor share that with me 2 years ago now, about not getting stuck in the pain of your story and moving people through it. So yes, share. I like when I was in MLM, I shared about my brain injuries. And then my story changed because my brain injuries and the symptoms and the pains and things like that shifted. So did my testimony, so did my story, so did my journey and the clients that I was calling in, right? You can be the authority. You can be the authority, but you can't be the authority if you're sharing from hurt or pain. You have to pull them through it. And if you want people to have confidence, if you want people to have confidence in what it is that you are sharing and have them willing to pay you a premium to help them, you have to distribute. You have to demonstrate that you've got what it takes, that you have what they need, that you have the talent, skill, ability, likability, and all of that, right? The expertise, that vulnerability. It helps them to see that you genuinely care about what it is that they're going through, but it's keeping them focused and accountable so that you can get them into that service, into that program, into that thing to get them through it, right? So you're going to show them that other side of the struggle, share the lessons, demonstrate the progress. This is literally what I teach my clients. And the feedback is so often so amazing because there's something different about sharing from a place of authority instead of a place of pain. And when you take a step back and you have someone with no agenda and fresh eyes, fresh perspective to point out like, hey, before and after, this is what's going on, it just clicks and it makes a world of difference. And all of these steps are invaluable when growing an aligned audience and monetizing your current audience. So that's the point in sharing this with you. And then the next part will be balancing your content, right? You can't make sales if you don't offer anything. But if you're always offering things like stuff all day, every day, it's going to become white noise. It's going to be missed, right? So offers convert, but too many offers burn your audience out. I don't mean that you're running a promo or you're running a launch and you're sharing. Obviously you should be sharing during that time, but sharing during that time is bad or offensive or anything like that. No, share your offer. If you're launching a program or something like that and you're doing lives and you're sharing email content, do that. But to do things back to back to back to back to back is exhausting for your audience. So make sure that you give them room to breathe, especially if you're beating them up in social media and in email. And having a sequence, understanding your sequence for your content. People will almost get programmed or trained to come to you for what it is they need when they're ready to buy, if you consistently show up and they understand what it is that you're here to help them with, right? So they'll keep coming back for more because you're providing them a value. So have a call to action and make it clear. So have a call to action and make it really clear and explicit so that they get value and they understand what to do, right? Whether it's telling them to join an email list or comment below or make sure you join us for this free masterclass, but there's a call to action, right? Get them engaged. The value, okay, there was something that I'm feeling like I want to shift this around a little bit. Just make sure that when you're sharing the value, especially if it's written value, that you put it in an order where you're taking them through the story, you're taking them through what it is, the journey that you're taking them on, and you're sharing the results, the benefit of what it is that you have to share. Don't focus on the modality, right? Hypnotherapy, Reiki, things like that. Like what are the benefits? What are the symptoms that someone has that you were trying to help them with? Insomnia, things like that. And mix it up so that you have all of that and then you have a call to action like comment below or shoot me a DM, things like that. And be creative and continue to provide value during this time. So growing an audience from zero. I know that we've been running long, but we're almost done. So growing an audience from zero. And one of my programs, there's this detailed training on how to grow your audience, but there are many steps that are available. And as soulpreneur and entrepreneur, you are on your own divine timing and in your unique stage of business. So we honor that, right? So you can copy, well, this is one way, you can copy a viral, and this is really popular like on TikTok and things like that, but you can copy a viral or high engagement content, full credit, don't plagiarize. Don't be that person. Like give credit where credit is due. But you can copy that from other influencers or articles, things within your niche or space, in between your original content to create more engagement, right? Bringing more people into you. So make sure that it's viral content or high engagement content that is getting a lot of views that is relevant to your niche. So for example, with TikTok, like if you do a viral dancing video, that's fun. but think about who that's going to attract to your page. Is that the smaller pocket of people that you want on your page if you are doing tarot readings or MLM sales or mindset coaching? There might be some people in there, but think about your content and make sure that it's aligned so that you're growing an audience that isn't just numbers, but it's engaged members who are getting value from what it is that you're sharing, right? And then you can kind of revamp and reuse some of your content, especially written content, for other things. And I teach this in my program too, but you can use that out. And then as you continue to add new people to Facebook, for example, you can splice or reuse really valuable content that you've created so that as these new people are accepting your friend requests and they peep out your page, they can decide if they want to engage with you or not. And then you're not doing any of that really spammy stuff. Okay. So that gives them space to come to you because they see you posturing yourself as a subject matter expert. People are always watching you. So don't feel like if you're not getting 200, 300 likes on your page that you're not being seen, you're being seen. But when you're sharing high value content with the right audience, your engagement will go up. And something that I've learned over the past, oh my gosh, like 4 years is that a lot of people that you see with 500 likes or whatever it is, they've either got the automatic program that does like they're liking and posting for them, so it creates higher engagement, or they're in an MLM or something like that where they're in an engagement group. So everyone posts their posts and then they say, go like my stuff. And then all of a sudden they have high engagement, right? Likes don't equal sales. So don't worry about that. Create your aligned and authentic audience. Likes don't equal sales, okay? I've had people spend thousands of dollars with me who have never once liked anything that I have shared or posted. And I'm completely fine with that. You have to be okay with that, okay? Sometimes it hurts ego because we're like, why aren't people liking my stuff? But they see it. So trust that people are seeing it and you do what you need to do within your business, okay? Okay, let me see. All right, so have a sales process that works. A lot of people, they get to the point, and I realized this when I was mentoring some people early, like years ago in direct sales, they get people to the point where they were ready to buy, and then you'd be like, oh crap, I don't know what to do. It's your job to know what to do, right? So I once ran a 5-day, four-day? No, it was a 5-day masterclass, and I've done many, like I've done more now, of course, different lengths, but I had spent so much time putting it together, getting content, doing workbooks. And my intention was really to demonstrate that I could do it. I had the goods. I wanted people to trust me, like me, to see me shifting into this leadership role that really I realized I had always been in, but it was just different because now it was online instead of taking care of a whole bunch of soldiers, right? So I was like, I could just show people that I'm here, I'm honest, I'm doing all of the things and I can help them get their results. And I spent like a week, 2 weeks getting all this stuff together, getting the scripts and things that I wanted together. And I was still working with my daughter, being homeschooled, virtual schooling and all this stuff. And it was stressful. I think I got a whole bunch of gray hair those 2 weeks. And do you know, I did all of that and I don't even think I made $1,000. I probably wasn't, I think maybe even like $700 maybe. And that's before counting all of the autoresponder pricing and all the other stuff that goes into launching something like that. And it's because I didn't have a selling system. I was so distracted. I was so busy trying to overcome my imposter syndrome, and I was all over the place, as many entrepreneurs can understand. And I didn't have a way to harvest. I didn't have a way to reap the benefits of what I'd created. So I'd get someone on the phone and in a single call, and I was stressed. I was posting content. I was cross-posting content. I was trying to email. I was trying to make everyone happy and answer all the questions and payment plans and working on different cart checkouts and learning all of these different systems, and then hearing people, the grammar police getting on me for graphics not being perfect. And I'm like, well, you didn't like my graphic, but are you going to sign up for the program? And just like this whole thing, the structure was just a hot mess express, right? And delivering, I was trying to over deliver to prove my worth, to shut my ego and that imposter syndrome up. But I didn't structure it. Right? So it's important that you have a clear structure and more abundance and more of the content that feels good, instead of having them move on to that next shiny object that is inevitably right in front of their face too, because many people are on a dozen different email lists as they're on yours, or in a million different Facebook groups as they're in on yours. And what it looks like when you have a clear process that you can rinse and repeat, and you can build that know, like, trust factor while creating the connection. I want to make sure I'm saying this in a good way, because a lot of people get intimidated by this. And I know, because I was once there, but practice makes better. But creating that connection and the following that you built, even if it's not 1 million followers, it's okay. You don't want followers anyway. Now that I'm saying it out loud in that way, you want people who take action. Followers are just like looky-loos who are there to see, but not do. So you want action takers, the inspired, the people who are tired of their own shit and ready for a change, right? The real magic of the method is knowing how to create that value. And it's not about giving away your best stuff like I did in the beginning. It's not about giving away your best stuff for free to people who may or may not be interested, may or may not use it, may or may not even be open to receive it, which is why I use that in my messaging so often. I'm here to help people who are open to receive. And understand that your target client, your target audience is not everyone. And you have to be okay with that. And understand that your target client, your target audience is going to appreciate what it is that you do have to say and share. This is more to be done in, like, if you use a smaller niche. I know a lot of people say you have to use like a big, huge niche, whatever, but you can take a smaller niche and make it a larger one by showing up consistently. And social media is so powerful now. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? So it's about creating ideal clients by moving them along the path forward that you have to take them on. So if you introduce them to your company with one thing, what's their next step? What's the next logical step after that? Is it one-on-one? Is it a group program? Is it a service? What is it, right? Have that laid out so that you understand the process that you are going to be implementing for your people. Okay, I know that this was a lot. We've reached almost an hour. It's been such an honor spending time with you all today, and I hope that you truly gained a lot of value. I would love to hear from you. So just let me know how you think, feel, what resonated with you with this training. And if you want to learn more about aligning your true essence within your life and your business, make sure you join our free Facebook community, Soulpreneur Life. You'll see me as the admin on there. Soulpreneur Life with Kendra Bolden is the Facebook page. If you aren't already a member, feel free to join and receive. Oh, you know what? You can feel free to join our Facebook group. And then within that is a link to join our email list where you will get a free gifted Akashic Records meditation. It was created within the Akashic Records. It's so good. And let me see what else. If you want help dialing in on your messaging so you don't have to constantly second guess your process, your messaging, what it is that you're doing, book a free discovery call with me. That's it. It fills up fast. So if you log on and you don't see anything that's open for the current week, wait a day or two and then come back and check again. But I'll leave all of those links around the video for you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here and a part of this journey. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Much love. Bye.